All right, what's up, you guys? This is Janos with Trading Spies. We have our first day in the bag with the small account challenge. We managed to build a little tiny green day today, which is completely fine with trading a small account. So we have to keep in mind, because it's a small account, we have to have a very tight stop loss, a very tight money management, because on the small account we just don't have the luxury to let a big flush go down and take our prices down with it, take the account with it. So we have to put a very tight stop loss on every single entries what we take. So we did all that. We entered 4 trades today. 3 of them was a winner. Tiny winners. Unfortunately, the market was very choppy. We're gonna get into it. Why is that? And also we had 1 loss. I'm gonna show it to you guys where that happened and what was the reasoning for the entry and the quick exit. What did I see? What we also have to keep in mind, right now we are trading in a very tight range. I'm trading on a small time frame, 1 and 5 minute time frame. So my levels a little bit different than you trading on a big picture, on a 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, or even the daily. So that being said, the 410.50 is a big demand level on the downside, and 415 it's a big supply level on the top. But because we're trading on a small account, we have a few little levels, what I have on my charts. And this is the 413, which is a supply level on the top. And the 412.50, 50-ish, is a demand level on the bottom. And yesterday, actually on Friday, we had the high of the day is the 412.68. So what I was thinking, if we're gonna get above it and we have a little pullback, that's where we can enter. So basically that's what I did. We had breaking the high of day, the previous high of day, we pulled back to the 412.50, which is at this time we had the confluence with the VWAP. So I was entering into the trade. We got a little double bottom. We had run up to the 413. I tried to sell. Unfortunately, the flush was so quick. I didn't get a fill. And as we broke that candle, I exited with a very tiny winner. And as we continue go down, we didn't break the structure of the trade. So as we went higher, I re-entered on the same level, and exactly the same thing happened. We reached the 413, we went a little bit above, and then in this case we had a huge flush. That's why we have to keep a very tight money management. I exited before the flush again for another tiny winner. But that's why we have to keep in mind our levels, what we're trading, the range, what we in, and what we try to get out of the trade. That's why we have to plan. That's why we have to have a plan in place, entries, exits, profit takings. All this has to be in our plan. And also what we have to consider, as I mentioned it before, we had the 410.50-ish demand level on the bottom. So basically our last entry was specifically on that level, and as we had it higher, we sold it again for a little bit of profit. And as we can see it right now, the market is start to be awake. So if I would hold that position, we would be a much better position. But in the stock market, we cannot have this kind of mindset. What if would've, should've, could've. That doesn't work. You have to have your plan in place, you follow and execute. That's all it's needed. And as we get into the breakdown, I'm gonna show you the losing entry, what was the reason behind it, and hopefully you can learn something very, very useful out of it. So let's get into it. So let me explain the entries and exits, what I took and what was the reason for them. As we can see, we have the previous day, which was Friday. We have the previous day high is the 412.68. So that's a given number, what we got. And also in the morning, this is the 5-minute chart. Let me switch it to the 1-minute chart. The morning we broke over. It was kind of choppy. We can see the week up, week down. So that's indication for the choppy price action. So it was holding the previous day high and it broke down. But also we have the 412.50, what we discussed prior, is a small time frame demand zone. So my thinking was, as we're gonna break down the previous day high, we're gonna take as the support the 412.50, and then from there we're gonna go up. So exactly that's what happened. I entered where the little arrow is. Basically from that point it was up. We had a little double bottom on the same level, and then from there we was shooting up. And basically the 413 level, as we had a little, I just put this over here, we had a little trend line. Basically as we broke out of it, it was an instant flush down. So as it came down, I gave a little bit of time, but as it broke that specific candle, I exited. So this little move over here didn't yield us much. And also, as I mentioned earlier, we didn't break the actual structure of the move. So we still was heading higher. We didn't break the lower high on the low time frame. So I re-entered basically the same position as we made a new high where the little candle is, and as we went above, we hit the double top. I exited. A little pull down, went up to 413, and then we had a huge rejection. And basically this is the reason why we have to have our levels up on the chart, because if we just try to enter, as we can see in both of these occasions, just for the pure breakout, it wouldn't work. Especially the second time, it's an instant rejection. And what happened with the new trader, and if we try to go for the breakout, in this instant, a sudden move down, a sudden flush, basically, let's just put it that way, you just wonder what happened. And then at this point on, basically you're becoming a backholder and you're just going down, 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 down. And at one point you have to give up, right? But hopefully you give up before you blow up your account. So that's why it's very, very important, and especially with the small account, to have a very, very tight stop loss. And very important is the money management one. Unfortunately, you don't hear it from a lot of places. And also the reason why I take long trades over here. Yeah, we can say, yeah, we have the 413 as a supply level above us. Why we just not taking short over there? So the reason why, in my point of view, when we trading a small account, we have to be with the trend direction. And in this case, the trend direction is up, because as we can see it from the pre-market, right? This is the pre-market low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So we are clearly on an uptrend. And even if we can put a little trend line over here, even with this, we're still on the uptrend. So that's why I was saying we didn't break on my second entry. We didn't break the structure. So that's why I was entering the second time. I was cautious because we have the 413. We had a double top. But these within the plan, so we can take these entries in my point of view. But we had the tight stop, we exited, unfortunately didn't break out. It is what it is. That's just the trade. And if we entering up here as a trend line break, or if we entering as a double top break, you are in a rude awakening. So please keep in mind, small account, trade with the trend, very tight stop losses. That's the key. That's the key. And as we continue down, you can see where the arrows are. That's my entries. So let me tell you the last one. This was the last entry. Again, we had a double bottom, exactly the same way as we had the double top on the top. My take was it, if we stay above these levels, because the 410.50 demand zone, supply zone, the 410.50 supply zone is right below, but we make the new candle. So this is where I entered. Obviously it was flushing down, and literally this candle low was 60. My exit would have been on 410.50. Obviously we didn't reach. We went up, and as we hit basically the pivot level, I exited. Unfortunately for me, it went higher, but all that is fine, because I stayed within my plan. I'm completely satisfied. Unfortunately, it's a very, very small day. It is what it is. But what we have to take, and what I told you guys, the third entry. And this was a losing one. So the reason why I entered over here, because on a higher time frame, we have, as you can see it on over here, I have as a line what I was thinking it will be a line where we're gonna stop going further down. So basically what happened, as we can see, after the big sell-off, we stopped right there, we went up, we stopped right there again. We have a breakdown, and usually lately what happens, once we have a big flush, a little breakdown, we're taking down, let's change it to the 5 minutes. Let's change it to the 5 minutes, and let's see how did that look, right? We had a flush down, and right away we turned back around. So basically what happened, I entered in thinking of the continuation to going back higher, find the bottom, going back higher. Unfortunately, it did not happen. As the candle made a new high, I entered. But unfortunately, as we came down, we broke the second candle low, I exited. Temporarily it went back up, but it's flushed down again. So basically all of my exits was justifiable, and to me a very, very good exits with a very tight stop loss. And with the small account, again, we cannot have a wide stop loss, because the moment we're letting it go too wide, as the options goes down, it does not matter if the price recovers on the underlying. Your option price won't recover even if you have hitting the same levels. So that's what we have to keep in mind. Is very, very dangerous to have it to go too far down. It's better to exit, because always we can re-enter. So that's all my take on it. And again, as we can see, we was running up higher. We hit the trend line, right? What we draw on the morning, flush down. Let's see what's going to happen. We broke VWAP, support VWAP. So let's see what's going to happen. Just keep it in mind. We hitting over here a pivot low, and it was a rejection. So from this point, the way I would do it, to wait to get above it, pull back, and then we can enter in this level, the 412 40-ish level, to another leg up with a very tight stop loss somewhere here below this level. Because as we can see it right now, we entering to the uptrend, right? We have the low, we have a higher low, we have a higher low. So if we break this, we have a higher high, higher high. If we go above it, we're gonna higher high, we're gonna have a support, and then we can wait for the leg up, right? So this is it for me. A very, very small, tiny green day, which is okay. As I mentioned, green day, that's all it's mattered. Little tiny steps, baby steps, and that's how we can build the small account. If you like this video, if you have any comments, suggestions, just leave it in the comments below. Please subscribe, hit the like button, also hit the notification, so as my new videos comes out, you're gonna be notified. And also just keep in mind is right now, as I'm finishing with my recording, it's 3 o'clock. So if you trading with the zero DTEs, the price movement from this point on is going to be very, very volatile. So just be careful. And as it's flushing down, you can suddenly lose a lot. So just be careful. And don't forget, learn and be greater.